Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV with a free baseball video for you for this weekend. Going to look at some in-depth analysis of the first month of the baseball season, some play-on, play-against situations, under-overachieving teams, and most importantly, a play-on pitcher for you, a guy that goes this Sunday afternoon, this weekend, that you can use as part of your betting strategy. I think this guy remains vastly underrated. I'm going to tell you who that play-on pitcher is here, and he goes Sunday afternoons. You can use him this weekend in just a moment. I'm going to talk about some concepts here that are just a bit outside from the mainstream media and talking heads, maybe some stuff you haven't picked up on here, as we're a full month of the end of the baseball season. It started last month on April 7th. This Saturday is May 7th, so we're 1 month in. Thought it'd be a good time to recap how this first month has gone and some strategy we can use, more importantly, to make some money here over the next 5 months of the baseball season. Just a quick reminder, the NBA playoffs are in full swing as well, and I've got a super strong and a rare 5% best bet going this weekend in the NBA playoffs. It's ready right now on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. I know you don't want to miss out on a strong NBA 5%er. Of course, baseball is locked and loaded every day as well. It's a great time to take advantage of an all-sports special. Now, if you want just the single 5% NBA best bet, get that for this weekend, build your bankroll, and then consider upgrading to that all-sports special. And here's how it works. Normally, 30 days all-sports is $299. We're going to take $100 off of that, so it's $199 for 30 days all-sports. That's already a fantastic offer, but I'm going to add another 7-day all-sports and a 3-day all-sports for free. That's 30 plus 7 plus 3 equals 40. That's right, 40 days for just $199. That's already a $100 discount off the 30-day, and you're getting 10 bonus days as well. No promo code needed, but you got to go get it right now on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. All right, I had that 5% NBA playoff best bet. Let's look at some baseball as well as we head into the weekend, a full month into the season. Once again, stay tuned. I'm going to give you that play-on pitcher here for this season, a guy I think is very underrated. It's a young rookie who's going to make you a lot of money here in the near future, and he goes this Sunday afternoon, so you can take advantage of it this weekend. Before we get to that play-on pitcher, though, let's look at some general themes here in the first month of the baseball season. Now, we know last year they switched the baseball. There were some inconsistencies. They actually used 2 different baseballs during the season. They were trying to cut down on some of the home runs. Then they cracked down on the sticky stuff, which were giving the pitchers too much of an advantage in June. Okay, so we saw a lot of changes last year. Offensive numbers were down for the most part, especially if you look at overall offensive numbers such as maybe batting average and things like that. In fact, last year the batting average was one of the lowest we had seen in a long time. Things did pick up a little bit later in the season once they took away the grip, the spider tech, the sticky stuff for the pitchers. And overall, if you look back over the last 152 years of baseball, this is going back to 1871. Last year, I believe, had the 9th lowest batting average ever. They've outdone themselves this year. We now have officially, after a month into the season, the lowest batting average in the history of Major League Baseball going back to 1871. Teams on an average are batting just .233 right now, which is really just incredible. And I want to put that in perspective because, first of all, when I came up in the 80s, as a baseball fan, I've been a pro handicapper since the 90s, of course. I've been doing this for over a quarter century. .233 team batting average this year. Last year, we finished at .244. We finished at .245 in 2020. In about .250 in 2019. If you go back just a decade ago, 2010 at .257. The year 2000, a lot of power hitters, .270. That was the steroid era, of course. Turn of the century, 2000, .278 batting average. Once again, we're at .233 right now in 2022. Go back to 1990, we were at about .258. And when I came up in the mid-'80s, about .255, even about as high as .260 back in 1980. So .233 is a really low number. I mean, guys used to not make Major League rosters hitting .233. They'd be the 8 or 9 hitter. Now that's the average for the big leagues. So something has obviously changed this year. And there's a couple theories. I mean, first of all, we had a limited spring training because of the lockout. But you can make an argument that hurt both pitchers and hitters. The ball is different, and there's a few reasons why. First of all, they said they did not change the ball from last year. I'll take baseball at their word, but a lot of times they've made changes and they haven't been public about it. But one thing they have done, though, they're putting the balls in humidors, and this adds moisture or takes moisture out. It basically puts everything on a level playing field depending on the different humidity context of every ballpark and atmosphere in the different cities. Keep in mind, we've only used this in Colorado since the 90s because of the thin air and altitude of Coors Field, but now all 30 big league teams, for the first time ever this year, are keeping the baseballs in humidors, along with their cigars, I guess. But all seriousness, something has changed with the baseball. Now, the exit velocity is actually very high. The balls are being hit as hard as they've ever been hit. but there's more drag on the baseball, and they're definitely not traveling as far. And this is pretty evident once again. I like looking at numbers. You guys know I'm a numbers-based handicapper, a numbers-based person in general, and baseball is the best number sport, as we all know. Now, I talked about batting average being at the lowest ever in over 150 years. Here's what really jumps out to me, though, is the percentage of hits that are home runs. If you look at the last 4 seasons before this year, the last 4 seasons, 3 of the 4 highest in the history of baseball, the last 150 years, the highest home runs per hits was in 2019, 2020, and 2021. 3 of the last 4 years, or the last 3 years had 3 of the highest 4 ever. Now all of a sudden we are drastically down to about the middle of the pack. In fact, we were looking at 1.4 back in 2019, 2020, 1.3. Those are the 2 highest ever. 2017, the 3rd highest. 2021, the 4th highest. So the 4 highest ever in baseball have all happened since 2017, including 3 of the last 4 years. Now we're at 0.9, which is literally way down the list. So home run percentage is way down. That's the big takeaway. And I think that's because something has changed with the baseballs, whether there's something's different or it's just the humidity, the humidors. The bottom line is the balls aren't traveling out of the park. And the reason this is an issue is because over the last decade or so, teams are really playing. We had the little Billy ball, and the A's had their magic there in the 80s and 90s with Billy Beane. No one's playing small ball anymore. Everyone wants the big home run hitters. They want the Aaron Judges, which means big strikeouts, big home runs. But keep in mind, a home run is very close to being a fly out, right? A fly ball out if it doesn't cross that fence. And balls aren't getting out of the stadium with more drag now than they used to. And this is something that's hurting some of the power hitting teams. Coming into this season, we thought the Blue Jays were going to be a monster offensively, and they obviously have a lot of potential still. But they have been one of the underachieving teams here early in the season. I was going to talk about some play-on-play against teams. Keep an eye on Toronto because right now, Toronto heading into Friday night, 16-11 straight up, but their expected win-loss record is just 13-14. They're negative 8 runs on the season. The offensive output is only 3rd in their own division. You all remember last year, the Seattle Mariners vastly overachieved. They're the biggest overachieving team in baseball in 2021, going 90-72. Their expected win-loss should have been 76-86. So they finished 18 games above 500. They should have been 10 below. That was a 28 net game difference. How are they doing this season so far? Well, for the most part, the Mariners, I think, are improved this year, but they're just 12-14 on the year, yet their expected win-loss would be 14-12. So they have come back down to earth a little bit. Looking at the overall standings this year, teams that have really overachieved, you would say, hey, maybe the New York Yankees, right? 18-7 heading into Friday night. Guess what? Their expected win-loss, 18-7. They're exactly where they should be. The Dodgers, another team that was a preseason favorite, 16-7. They actually should be 18-5 heading into Friday night as we're looking at all these numbers before the weekend series begins. So Dodgers and Yankees are legitimately the 2 best teams in baseball right now after the first month. They were 2 of the preseason favorites. The Angels are performing much better than that this year now that Mike Trout is healthy. He missed most of last year. They're 17-10, expected win-loss 16-11. This is, of course, a team that drastically underachieved last year, going just 77-85. We got to talk about some really bad teams now. I talked about some good teams. Cincinnati Reds are historically bad right now. This is a team, as we head into Friday night, just 3 wins on the season, 3-22. And the problem is it looks like they're not even trying. And they've repeatedly lost by double-digit margins. In fact, they lost 10 straight a couple weeks ago by 2 runs or more. And you could have played against them on the run line and gotten very reasonable prices still. Once again, you want to fade bad teams, lay the 1.5. Don't be afraid to do that. And good teams, the Dodgers, we've talked about this for several seasons now. I mentioned it on a lot of the shows here on WagerTalk TV. Dodgers continue to win by margin. If you're going to play them, the minus 1.5 run line is often worth a look. If you're going to fade them, take the other team outright at plus money, as you're often getting $1.80, $2 price or more. Dodgers usually win by margin and win by 2 or more, or they basically lose outright. And this is something we've seen work for several seasons. And early on this year, the Dodgers, their first 8 wins, 7 of those 8 came by margin of 2 or more. We look at their recent wins here. Heading into Friday night, they'd won 3 straight, all by 2 runs or more. This is a Dodger team that continues to win by margin almost every win this year by 2 runs or more. So if you're going to play them, you want to lay the 1.5. If you're going to fade them, you're better off just taking plus money with the outright dog in those Dodger games. And by the way, I would expect the same thing to probably be working for the Yankees this year as well. Another potent offensive team that can put some runs up. As I mentioned, the best record in baseball. And the Yankees also, they usually win by margin. They had a 1-run win a couple nights ago against Toronto. But every other win basically during this win streak, I believe, except for one other, has been by margin. And of course, that was the 11-game win streak they had. 9 of those 11 wins before they lost finally on Wednesday came by 2 runs or more. So once again, good teams, consider that -1.5 run line to get it down to a more reasonable price. And if you're going to fade them, take the shot with the big dog price on the underdog the other way around. All right, look, I gave you enough overall insight here. There's been a lot of other things. Unders, by the way, were about 60% after the first few weeks. Talked about the way, way lower home runs. It does look like the odds makers are catching on. We've had a little bit of an overrun here in recent weeks, and now it's below 55% for the season. So once again, another reason you don't want to overreact to just 2 or 3 weeks of data. Keep in mind, April games in general are lower scoring because the weather gets warmer in June, July, August. The ball travels further. We saw about a 60% under clip, got down to 57. Now it's down to below 55% as we head into the weekend. So it does look like the odds makers have corrected, and it looks like the offenses are starting to heat up just a little bit. Look, I promised you I'd give you a play-on pitcher for this season, really, and he goes this Sunday. Going to get to that in just a moment. Quick reminder, NBA playoffs are still here. I've got a strong 5%, a rare 5% best bet for the NBA playoffs this weekend. It's locked and loaded right now on my page at WagerTalk.com. Steve Merril. Hey, single 5% play is $35, or you can get the next 40 days, including baseball and basketball, for just $199. That's a huge all-sports special. Once again, 30 days is normally $299. We're taking $100 off. You're getting 30 days for $199. That's already a huge discount. Plus, you're adding a 7-day and an additional 3-day all sports for free. So that's 40 days for just $199. No promo code needed, but you got to go to my page right now and get it this weekend. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. All right, NBA playoffs, 5% play is loaded for this weekend. Let's look at some free baseball information, some actionable info that you can use. And this is my play-on pitcher right now in 2022 after the first month. Rookie Joe Ryan for the Minnesota Twins. A lot of people probably aren't familiar with him. Well, he goes this Sunday afternoon. He'll be starting against Oakland, so you'll get a chance to check him out if you'd like to watch that game, and more importantly, if you want to play it. This is a guy that started 5 games this season. He's a rookie, had a little bit of action last year in 2021. This will be his first full season in the rotation, and the Twins are so confident in him, they named him the opening day starter against Seattle back on Friday, April the 8th, a month ago. Mediocre outing. He lost 2-1. Gave up 2 earned runs in just 4 innings. The problem was control. He had 4 walks along with his 4 strikes. Gave up only 2 hits. The walks were what got him. But boy, did he fix his problem the next outing the following Friday against the Red Sox on the road at Fenway. 7 strikeouts and no walks in an impressive 8-4 win. In fact, if you look at his other 4 starts since opening day, he's only had 3 total walks in 4 games after having 4 in that opening day game. This is a guy that's really dialed in right now. In fact, his strikeout to walk ratio 24-3 the last 4 games since that opening day game in which he was 4-4. He's now gone 24-3. I love strikeout walk ratio because it shows power, shows control. And once again, the ball's not traveling as far now, so you don't have to worry quite as much about home runs. He gave up 1 home run of each of his 2 starts. One in opening day when he wasn't quite great, and then one at Fenway. No home runs allowed the last 3 games. And I think he'll take care of the A's as well. So this is a guy to keep an eye on, rookie Joe Ryan. And by the way, he was drafted in the 7th round by the Devil Rays, Tampa Bay, 2018. He made the U.S. Olympic team in 2020, was pitching over in Japan when they won a silver medal, lost to the Japanese for the gold. And the Twins actually made a trade. It was part of the Nelson Cruz trade while he was on the Olympic team in 2020. So he's now been with the Twins a couple years. He'll be in the full-time rotation this year. And he's someone, the numbers don't lie, and obviously he's having a great start to the season with a 1.6 ERA at home, especially. This is a guy that's pitching extremely well, but young pitchers like this that don't have a lot of numbers kind of fly under the radar for a while from the betting public and even the odds makers, and that's why I think we can make some money with Joe Ryan this season and the Minnesota Twins. He goes this Sunday afternoon. He has, by the way, a 1.63 ERA overall, 3-1 on the year. A guy I think will continue to be a profitable pitcher for us until the betting public in general catches on. Hope you found this information useful. Do me a favor, leave some comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Too much to cover here in just one little video. But those are just some general takeaways from the first month of the season. Obviously, as a handicapper, we keep an eye on scoring. We keep an eye on home run rates and how the baseballs are traveling. Let me know your thoughts on the first month of the season. Any play-on, play against teams. More importantly, some play-on, play against pitchers like the one I just mentioned. And let me know what else you're looking at here for the rest of the baseball season. Comment below. I read each and every one of them. I appreciate the support, and I reply back. Also, while you're at it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. We're getting ever so close to 100,000 subscribers right here on WagerTalk TV. And we are the first true betting channel in the history of YouTube to get a verified check mark from YouTube themselves. That just happened this week, and that's a thanks to all of you out there for watching each and every week on a daily basis and supporting this channel. Let's get it even bigger and better. Like, subscribe, and comment below, and tune in each and every day for more great content right here on WagerTalk TV. Thanks for watching. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you again soon.